Hey everyone, Rathos here. Today we're going to do a new kind of video I haven't done yet. It's a deck profile. Um, I've been wanting to do this for a while. It just things keep getting in my way and not giving me the time anymore. Um, so yeah, this is basically going to be a version 1 though. This is basically a build of Fire Kings, Dragons, and Lava Monsters. Or cards, I should say. The deck runs really well. I've tried a couple times with it, but yeah, I haven't really been using it lately because I've been trying other things. But so far, it's done really well. I got bored and used it the last time I entered, and it did really well. I topped again with it. I topped 8 with it, but pretty good. Um, so yeah, not much else to really say. Like I said earlier, this is basically a version 1 of the deck because I'm going to remodel it to add a few of the new cards that came out. Most of the deck is pretty cheap. You can get a lot of it in a structure decks, so it ain't too hard to get. The only part that gets kind of difficult is the extra deck in a way, but not really. So yeah, so let's begin. Oh yeah, it's a 40 card deck. It has 24 monsters. It has around two Grunics. Grunix is amazing. Um, if he gets destroyed by battle, you special summon a Fire King monster from the deck except himself. If he gets destroyed by his card effect, he special summons the next standby phase and from the graveyard and destroys all of the monsters. Oops. Come on. I ran it at 3, but it was too cloggy at 3. It runs just well at 1, or at 2, I mean. And then 2 Barongs. Barong is the searcher of the deck. He searches out any of the Fire King cards when he's destroyed by a card effect. So you get card effect, and then if a Fire King monster was destroyed, except by during battle, you could during battle the battle step, you can special summon him from your hand. So like if Grunix destroyed one of him or something, you can special summon him, the one from your hand. Then we run 2 Barongs, that's them right there. You run 3 Yaksha, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yaksha is pretty good. When he's destroyed at all and just sent to the graveyard, you can destroy one card on your field or in your hand. So you can use and destroy Grunix in your hand, and you'll get a free summon. So yeah, and then he also gains that effect that if the Fire King monster is destroyed on your field, you can special summon him from your hand. Then 3 Fire Dogs. He added a lot of speed. I actually didn't expect him to do as well as he did. I ran 2 at a time, and I seen when I did have him, I had a lot of plays, so I tried 3, and it worked wonders. When he destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon one fire monster from your deck with 200 or less defense, which is basically the entire deck. So you'll usually do it though to get the next monsters, which are 3 Lakeside Ladies. Usually you'll go for her. She's a 3 tuner. So you could synchro up and have a pretty good beater on the field for your next turn, for your opponent's turn. So yeah. Oh, and the Lakeside Lady also has the effect that I don't use too often, but it's there, that you banish her and one other lava monster from the graveyard to destroy one set card in your opponent's field. So like if you don't trust their back row or something, you can get rid of it. And the only other lava I run is Handmaiden. 3 Handmaidens. Handmaiden's a level 1 winner as well. She If she's sent to the graveyard while there's another lava monster in the graveyard, except herself, you could send another lava from the deck to the graveyard. And the way this deck runs, you want to get the lavas into the graveyard as fast as possible. You don't need them in the graveyard. I mean, it doesn't bother you too much if you draw them, but you don't want to draw them usually. Because of the new ban list, I run 1 blaster. I used to run 3. Three. I ran two. It worked amazing. I ran three. It worked pretty alright, pretty good. So, but now I have to run just one. I ran one at the beginning, but when I first started building the deck, 'cause it was a pain in the ass to get him. Because when I was building this, he wasn't in the tin yet. Um, this is actually the first blaster I ever got. So, yeah. Blaster. Everyone knows what blaster does. Everyone knows what E-dragons do. They're annoying, but E-dragons are not dead. And the other part of the deck that most people don't run at all is two Black Flame Dragons. Black Flame Dragon 4. His effect is too bad. I mean, the controller of him can't be switched. But what you want is him to destroy a monster, and then at the end phase, you send him to the graveyard to special summon his level 6 form. The level 6 form, he's not affected by spell cards. So, yeah. Um, so, yeah, that's basically what you want. You want him also to destroy monsters, then at the end phase, special summon level 8. Level 8 is the monster that will screw over a lot of decks. He will actually, with him on the field, your opponent basically can't use any spells because he can negate spells as up to any amount of times you want. You don't have to actually, so you don't have to negate your own. You choose. You can negate, so you don't have to negate your own card, your own spells. And then the one Sacred Phoenix. Sacred Phoenix just to have a heavy storm in the deck, basically. With the back rows being really strong right now. Heavy storm monster is pretty good. So that's all. That's the 24 monsters. There are 11 spells. So yeah, there's run these circles. Circle of the Fire King. Circle's amazing. He's basically a monster reborn. You destroy one fire monster, destroy someone one from the graveyard. So yeah, you destroy like Sacred Phoenix or something, special summon one. So yeah, and then you basically get Sacred Phoenix back. So there's always that. And it's a quick play card, so you can always use it during your opponent's turn. And then we run two Molten Construction Fields. Molten Construction is pretty good. It gets levels into the graveyard. With one of these, you can get 5 of the levels into the graveyard. So that's pretty good. And that's basically what you want. You want in the graveyard. And then the one Onslaught. Onslaught, it's pretty easy. Most of the time when you use it, you'll either go for Phoenix or for Grunix. Most of the time you'll go for Grunix. So yeah. Two Tenkies. If I remember correctly, I think Tenki's now at 3. But you only have 6 targets, so you don't really want to overwork Tenki. So yeah. And this is the reason you want the levels in the graveyard though, is Rekindling. I run 2 Rekindling. Rekindling is the winner of the deck usually. There are times when I won majorly with this deck. There are times when I was losing and I played Rekindling and I won. So, and then the one Staple Dark Hole. That is the spells. The trap. There are only 5 traps. Horn of the Phantom Beast. This adds power and draw power to the deck. It gives any beast, warrior monster an extra 800 attack, and then if that monster ever destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, you draw an extra card. You draw a card, I should say, not really extra. So yeah, it's always good. You could always use it as defensive purposes. There were a couple times when I used it just to get a little extra attack when someone tried to attack me. And then the rest are just staple ones, the Torrential Tribute, and the Compulse. So that is the main deck. I kind of have a side deck, but it's not really that important. The side decks really depend on how you use the deck, really. So, but yeah. So for the extra deck, we were into level 5. This level 5 Synchros. We have one Level Dragon. Level Dragon is an amazing card, actually. How to put this? Level Dragon. If you send 2 levels from the graveyard to the deck, to return one card on your opponent's side of the field to the hand. And then you can use it as many times as you want. So you can basically, and then you can always use this like if you never use multiple construction fields, you use one, send it back, and you can still use this effect. So it's always a good card to have if you can't get over something. And then one Lawful Dual Slasher. Dual Slasher is pretty good. If you have two Lawful monsters in graveyard, he can attack twice. He destroys a monster and can attack again. If you have three or more, he can, and you can, and he adds the ability to he does piercing. Oh, on top of the extra attacking. So he's pretty good. He's he's a 24 beater. Plus he has 200 defense. So you can always bring him back with rekindling, which I usually do if I have two rekindlings, because I could bring him back and basically summon someone in one of the monsters in here that are boss. And then that's it for the level 5s. Now level 7s, we run one Stenon. Stenon, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a level 7. He's a 27 beater. 2700 beater. Usually he'll be the one you go into with Fire Dog. But remember, when he's summoned, you have to discard a card. It's a cost. So if you don't have a card in your hand, you can't summon him. So that's a downfall. And then if he's ever targeted by card effects, you could banish a Lava from the graveyard to negate and destroy the card. Negate the effect and destroy whatever card it is. And then obviously once Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon is a staple in most decks that can run level 7s or make level 7s. The reason it's in a different sleeve is because it's being used in a different deck at the moment, and I only have one. It's really hard to get start. It's really hard to get him at the moment. So yeah. Then here's the main part of the deck that you really want to go for most of the time. The Red Dragon Archfiends. The Red Dragon Archfiend. He's a 3000 beater. He if he destroys a monster in defense mode, he destroys all monsters and then he destroys all monsters in defense mode. However, if you just let him die, if you have a monster that didn't attack, he kills him. That's actually not too bad of a good thing with this deck though, because you can like not attack with Barong on purpose and let him die. He dies by an effect, so next turn, during the standby, you get a search. Now the next card is Nova. Red Nova Dragon. Nova is the boss of this deck. You could basically summon him in one turn. I've first turned him a couple times, and which is boss. I've actually first turned both of them before, and it was just they just folded. They drew and they just said screw it and they folded. There's nothing. I mean, they can use their compulse to get rid of one of them, and then there'd still be the other one to deal with. So yeah, he's a boss. If your opponent attacks, you can banish him, negate the attack. He gains 500 for every level, but technically in this deck, every tuner in the graveyard. So he has a maximum attack of 6,500 in this deck. Which is pretty strong, and he can't be destroyed by your opponent's spell of card effects. So compulse is his weakness. And I guess Dimensional Prison, since that doesn't technically destroy, just banishes. Now we run. I also run a decisive armor, mainly because light deck. I noticed when I first started building this deck, the light deck agents was really strong against it. I managed to win most of the time against them, but it took a lot of effort. So yeah, this card really made it really a lot easier to take him out. He has a long effect, so I'm not going to read it. So if you want to know what he does, just look him up. It's Ally Justice, Decisive Armor. And then that's all the Synchro monsters. Now we are to the XP monsters, which this extra deck ain't completely done, but it's doing its job. There are a couple cards I'd like to put in here. One Leviar for Ring 3. For the starting of Ring 3. Leviar. You banish sometimes you banish decently amount of times in the deck. Not as much now that Blaster's at 1, but you do banish it sometimes, so it's always good to get those monsters back. And then one Lion Emperor. Lion Emperor is basically to reuse your cards. Like if level 8 they managed to get over level 8 and say and whatnot, and level 8 can only be special summoned by the effect of level 6. So you can use him, get level 8 into your hand. So, and then if you wanted, you can use Circle to get back 6, and then you basically have 8 again. So yeah. And then one Diamond Direwolf. Diamond Direwolf is amazing. You target one card on your opponent's side of the field, one monster in your opponent's side of the field, and one, I think it's monster. No, it's one card. Sweet. That made it even better. It's one monster in your one card on your opponent's side of the field, and one beast, warrior, and winged beast, I believe. Yeah, on your side of the field, and destroy both targets. So basically, you'd want to get rid of. You could destroy like certain monsters with like Barzong and whatnot. Even Phoenix, even the Sacred Phoenix, because he's a winged beast. So it's a pretty good card. And then the one staple Utopia. Well, that's the extra deck. So this deck is pretty great. It's fun to use too. So yeah. I guess that's basically everything, really. This is like I said, this is version 1 though, because I am going to be making another one. So, well, I'm not going to make another one. I'm going to basically remodel this one to work with the new card, the new cards that work with it. So that can work with it. And hopefully, I'll have a decent build of it. Hopefully. So yeah. If you like the deck, let me know and all that. If you think of any extra deck monsters or whatever I could put in, but the main things you'd want to really side in, you can really side in this deck basically are um, uh, DNA surgery basically, because that will destroy. Because spellbooks own this deck. To tell you the truth, spellbooks just own. Um, Spellbook owns almost anything, but spellbooks are still really strong out there. So if you have DNA surgery in the deck, you're basically stopping spellbooks. Do not wing beast. Do beast warriors, and then your spellbook opponent can't do anything. And then that opens you, because then now you can equip your Horn of the Phantom Beast to anyone. So yeah. But yeah, that's basically it. All you really need though to get Nova out in one turn is a level 4 monster, Molten Construction Field, and Rekindling. Those 3 cards, and you have Nova. So, if you guys don't understand how that would work, let comment and I'll show you how it works. But I don't want this video to get too long, so I'm not gonna really demonstrate that right now. So yeah. Like, subscribe, all that other stuff. You guys know how to use YouTube by now. So see you all next time, everyone.